They say the wind carries more than dust in a place like Dust River. Sometimes it carries names, lost ones, old ones, the kind folks try to outrun. Mine was one of those names. At least it used to be. I was 19 when my ma climbed onto that busted wagon and left us behind. Me and 3 younger siblings, still muddy in the knees and full of hunger. My pa, Caleb Hanley, had already pawned off the roof over our heads for whiskey and debts. Loretta, my ma, she didn't even look back when the littlest one ran to her. Just yanked away like that girl's hands were something rotten. That was the last time I used the name Hanley. We huddled that night under what was left of the porch, just scraps of wood, and one half-dying ember I'd managed to coax out of wet kindling. I wrapped the little ones in what blankets we had and kept my mouth shut. I didn't cry. I'd long since run out of tears. What's the point when no one's listening? When the fire burned low, I whispered to the stars, "That name's not mine no more." Ain't think they heard me, but I said it anyway. The next morning, he showed up. Rider alone on the horizon, coat heavy with dust, boots clicking against iron stirrups like thunder you can't quite hear yet. Didn't know his name then, just saw him pull up, pause at the edge of our broken yard like the land itself had whispered something to him. I stood up straight, arms around the kids, chin high like I had something left to defend. "You all right?" he asked. Didn't answer. "You got a name?" "I got a first," I said. "Ain't carrying the rest." That man looked at me a long time, not with pity, just saw me, I think. Then he tipped his hat and rode on, leaving nothing behind but the shape of him burned into my memory. That night there was a bundle under the gate, bread, cured meat, water. Next day, firewood. Then beans, a blanket, a pouch of sugar wrapped careful in oilcloth. Always left silent, no footsteps. I stayed sharp, thought maybe it was a trap. But nothing ever spoiled. Nothing ever asked anything of me. On the 3rd day, I caught him. Same rider, quiet as before. I stepped out and asked, "Why are you doing this?" He looked at me like it was the simplest thing in the world. "Because someone should." I frowned. "That ain't a reason." He just smiled soft. "Maybe not, but it's enough." Didn't know what to say to that, so I said nothing. A few days later, I came to return everything, bundled it up and left it at his gate. Said I wasn't a charity case. He just nodded. "Neither am I. You want to return it? Fine. Take it out and work." "Work?" I asked. "You know horses?" "No." "Good. You'll learn." And so I did. I split wood till my palms blistered, hauled stones with shaking arms, fed livestock, scrubbed pans, boiled broth from scraps like it was a banquet. He never praised, never scolded either. But he noticed. I saw it in the way he'd leave a hat out when my scalp burned, or boots by the barn door when my soles cracked. One night, after branding calves all day, I sat by the fire, too tired to lift the spoon. He said, "You ever been shot?" I blinked. "No." "Hurts like hell," he said, "but it's the healing that really burns." Didn't know what he meant then. I do now. He added, real quiet, "Sometimes not asking is the kindest thing a man can do. Figured your name was still bleeding." That was the first time I thought maybe silence could be a kind of grace. The kids, they flourished, grew strong, laughed again. We spent afternoons at his ranch. He never said why we were welcome, just kept the barn doors open and the stew pot simmering. Then one day, a preacher showed up, fella from town, smelling like old books and sour rain. "I hear there's new children near the Boone place," he said, meaning the ranch. "Thought it time to register them with the church." He knelt and asked their names. When it came time for the last name, I froze. Couldn't speak. Couldn't lie either. But Lily, my youngest sister, stepped forward, chin up like a little wildfire. "We're Boones," she said. "Uncle Calder's our home." Silence fell like a hammer. Calder didn't speak, just walked into the barn. And that night, I found it carved above the stable beam. Eva Boone. Didn't say it out loud right away, but when I did, it fit. Peace didn't last, of course. Nothing good ever does in places like Dust River. One day, a wagon rolled in from the south. In it, a man I recognized, kin on my mother's side, if you could call it that. Slimy grin, cracked boots, eyes like nails in a coffin lid. Said he came to fetch the children. "Family belongs with family," he claimed. Before I could spit in his direction, Calder stepped out of the barn. Calm, steady. "They're not bags of grain to be carted off," he said. The man snorted. "We got blood in common, got land. They can earn their keep." Calder took one step forward. "You vanished when it rained. You don't get to return when the skies are clear." The man's eyes darkened. "You got no papers, no marriage, no claim. I'm the one who showed up." It was like the air cracked open. Neighbors came out, one by one. The baker, the blacksmith, the widow from the ridge. They all spoke. "I saw her carry those kids through a flood. I saw him bring firewood when no one else did. They belong." Then I stepped forward, didn't look at Calder, just reached for his hand. "I choose him," I said, clear as a bell. "I choose the man who carried our future instead of cursing our past." My cousin spat in the dirt. "You're just a child." "No," I said. "I was a child when you left me bleeding. I'm not anymore. And I don't belong to pain." I looked at the people, every soul in Dust River that had watched me rise from ashes. "My name is Eva Boone," I said, "and I chose it." The men rode off after that, back into the dust that made 'em. I didn't cry. Didn't need to. That night, I found a scrap of paper on my windowsill. Calder's handwriting, rough but certain. "Blood leaves, but heart stays." And that, my friend, was the first time I knew what it meant to truly belong. Some stories don't end with a kiss. Some may end with a name carved into wood and a hand held steady in the dark. Ask me if I'd do it all again.